Hey, welcome to Small Towns Unscripted, Miss Sue Baker.
Thank you. You asked what my real name was, Susan Beatrice Huntington Baker. Everybody calls me Sue.
Okay.
I know exactly how long a person has known me, because if they call me Susan, they graduated from high school with me.
Oh, gosh.
If they call me Sue, they've known me because Dub was the first person that called me Sue, actually.
Your husband.
My husband. So anyway, I was a pioneer. My family were pioneers of the Walla Walla Valley. My great-grandfather built the first school in Prescott, Washington, helped build the first school in Waitsburg, Washington. My grandparents great-grandparents on the other side had the first dairy in the Walla Walla Valley. And so, but my family, I finally sold the 5-generation family home in Walla Walla here a few years ago, for the very simple reason, being a long-distance landlord, you can't do it. Mm-hmm. You can't do it.
So you went to high school in Walla Walla?
No, I moved to the Chelan Valley in the spring of February of 1952, in the raging snowstorm from La Crosse, Washington. We moved to La Crosse. My dad ran the big Hendrickson wheat ranch for the Hendrickson brothers, mm-hmm. and which were neighbors of my grandparents in Walla Walla. Anyway, he ran that ranch, and we had the big flood of the 48 flood and everything, and it moved the house off the foundation, wow. Filled our house full of mud and all that kind of stuff. And they moved us to a little shack, you might say, on the ranch. And this was a big concern, Flying Farmers of America. They had their own airstrip, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, big company.
And so it got kind of to the point where, no, we don't want to do this anymore. And my mother was a 5-star chef.
Oh, really?
My mother went to International Chef School. And they had friends that lived in Chelan. Mm-hmm. And they said, hey, Hazel, you can get a job anywhere. We can get you a job up here. And and why don't you guys move up here? So we moved to a little house on Gibson Street.
1952.
All of our belongings in the back of a cattle truck with a tarp over it. Cold up here. Holy Ned, it's cold up here. The ranch got snow, but we didn't get snow like that up here, and it was cold in February. But
we got a lot of snow for a long time. Even when I was a kid, in the 70s, it was 3 feet.
Yeah,
It'd be normal.
Yeah, and we don't get that anymore.
No, we don't.
And we should. But that's one reason it's so dry anymore. But anyway, we moved up here, and I had just started 2nd grade in La Crosse. And Mom went to work for John Bixby, and that's when his cafe had the dumbwaiter, and they had he did all the service clubs, the Lions Club, the Chamber, yada yada yada, in the mm-hmm. basement of Bixby's, and he had the grocery store on the main floor, and it's now the Eagles, in Chelan. Lots of changes. Changes.
So I heard that Hughes Steakhouse was part of your
Hughes
mom's.
Steakhouse. My mother, she worked there. Then she worked at Nell's Cafe, which was not Nell's. It was the Bluebird.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot. So I'm trying to remember, because I remember like the Sand and Surf, and then back door to Texas, but Hughes was more downtown, right?
Hughes was was where Savato's is now.
Okay.
Well,
Uncle Bub's was that?
Yeah,
Hughes?
It was Uncle Bub's. That was Hughes.
I got you. Okay.
But Mom worked at the Bluebird. Art Mathers used to ride his horse down from the Saddle Club every day and have breakfast and then come back down for dinner, ride his horse. There was 2 big old maple trees that
For hitching
stood out
posts.
in front of the Bluebird, which is where the Midtowner is now.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to tie his horse up to the tree and go in and eat. Then he'd mosey on back up the hill. It was great fun. I slept in the back of my mom's car, so she didn't have to hire a babysitter. She made a bed in the back of her car because she always worked nights.
I see.
And I slept in the back of the car. I could have probably blackmailed about half of Chelan.
Oh,
In those
if you had had
days,
cameras and phones,
in
phones with
those
cameras on.
days,
Yeah.
in those days, that's 1953, 54, about in there.
Well, my dad was an 18, 19-year-old. You probably would have caught him doing
Yeah.
something. Glad you
There
didn't
was
catch him.
lots of fights. I can remember one big fight that happened in the restaurant where one of the waitresses, they had, of course, everybody smoked in those days, you know, and they had these great big, huge, heavy glass ashtrays, and
Ashtrays,
she
yeah.
picked one up to hit this guy with, and she ended up knocking the owner of the restaurant out because
Those are like
he turned
weapons.
around.
They were
Yeah.
like
Well,
5 pounds
they're
apiece.
thick.
Yeah. And so she was teased about that for a lot of years. I
You
guess,
don't want to mess with her, though.
But Mom worked in the snack shack later on. Then she worked at the bungalow. And that in the bungalow, when she worked at the bungalow, which is Campbell's, she worked there when they first had the apple cup races.
Okay.
And that's where, and then the next way she moved up to Hughes. And she was at Hughes for Hugh and Greta for many, many years, like probably 20 years, till after Hugh died. And about the time that Hugh died, my grandfather died in Walla Walla, and I had married Dub. But, and so my folks moved back to Walla Walla. All the years we lived up here, my dad worked in Walla Walla. He didn't
Okay,
work
he
up.
didn't move up.
He moved up, and he would be here during the winter time. But he had about 5 farmers that he was a heavy machinist.
Oh.
He repaired combines and cats and things like that. And then he would go to work for Birdseye and do viners for pea harvest, bean harvest, Napa, Idaho. He was all over.
Where did your grandparents come from, or great-grandparents? Where originally did it all?
Okay, on my dad's side, my grandmother was born in Germany,
Okay.
in Schlossberg, Germany.
Oh.
And she would never tell us anything about Germany. She would never speak of Germany.
It's tough
She
times.
still spoke German, but she would never tell any of us. Us grandkids were really curious about, and no, it's verboten. We don't speak of Germany.
Yeah. Well, World War
And-
II was kind of a.
Well, this was in the 1800s,
Oh, you went way back.
way back.
I see.
And because her family came to the Pedersons, came to Canada first, and then moved into Nebraska, Haysprings, Nebraska. And the Huntington family, which is my dad's family, were part-time in Canada. If you go back in history into George Washington, I'm a great-great-great-granddaughter of the Revolution, and my Ebenezer Huntington was General Ebenezer Huntington.
Oh, wow.
He quit Yale to go fight for fight the English.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, and we've kind of traced through that and everything, but my main family were all farmers.
Yeah, a lot of people, right, back in the day.
That's what you did was farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to eat.
And it was, I think they finally sold the farm in Nebraska, probably my dad family nobody wanted it. They all had their own, so they sold the family. The Hearst family was, like I said, 5 generations in the Walla Walla Valley.
Wow.
So but I was raised in Chelan. I loved Chelan. You spent all summer long in that lake. I mean, every day.
Yeah, that's the first thing you said. This is right at
From-
Wapato Point.
Well,
And
I mean, in
water
Chelan,
skiing.
I lived in the big old Ridout house for years and years and years. The big old greenhouse that sat, when you went across the old bridge, you looked up on the hill, and that great big huge greenhouse that sat up there. That's where we lived for years and years and
Beautiful
years and
spot.
years. And you spent all time down in the lake down there. Come home with your lips blue, and my dad would say, "How's the water?" "It's just fine. It's just fine." I mean, we had great times.
Yeah, things have changed a little bit
They-
in some ways, right? And in some ways they
Yeah.
stay the same.
Well, look at him enjoying the lake, though.
Yeah.
But we enjoyed the lake. I graduated from Chelan High School, went to Wenatchee Valley. All the years that I was in Chelan High School, I worked on the ticket crew for Ma Rainier.
Ticket crew, what does that mean?
The ticket crew, taking tickets, selling tickets
okay.
at ball games and everything.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And I actually met my husband because he worked at Chelan Apple, and Dewey Hayter used to bring him to all the ball games. They used to come to all the ball games. And Dewey could make me blush faster than anybody in this world. He could make me turn just as red as a beet. And of course, in those days, I was white blonde, so red, I mean, instant blush, instant blush. But it was really funny when I graduated from Wenatchee Valley College, and I wasn't real sure what I was going to do. And Mother said, "Well, you can work in the restaurant, honey, because right now, So I actually didn't want to work for her. I went to work in the Apple Cup for Fleming's.
So did you learn a lot of your mom's skills from her training?
Oh,
She
yeah.
passed them down to you? You were a good cook.
I'm a cook.
Yeah,
I'm a
you
cook.
go. There you
I
go.
love to cook. And I met Dub again. And he was since divorced and everything. So anyway, we kind of hooked up and
What year did you graduate high school?
graduated high school 63, graduated from Wenatchee Valley in 65. Married him in November of 65.
Oh,
And so it was the move to Manson.
yeah.
My first, and we were big ball fans. We went to all the ball games and we followed the kids wherever. Didn't have any of our own, but they were all our kids.
All adopted kids,
They were
yeah.
all adopted kids.
And back then, you're looking at what, 20 kids a class, 15, 30 kids.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you knew.
Yeah.
When you moved, we talk a lot about like my dad's era in the 50s. It was real kind of community tribal.
Oh my.
A lot of competition.
Oh my. I can remember one year in high school, the Manson boys brought a skunk and turned it loose in the school.
Oh my gosh.
And we burned CHS into the football field up here.
You know what they burned into the football field when I was in school? Good thing we're on a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it. I kind of do, but I'm not going to say your names because you're friends of mine now. But back when we were in high school, they burned, we're Trojans, right? And for
Yes.
people, you know what brand, what Trojans?
Oh, yeah.
So that
yeah.
word rubbers was burned into our
Well, I can remember several outhouses being,
Yeah.
shipped here and there.
Yeah, I just said we bent, but we don't break.
Yeah.
Just
My goodness.
ding, ding.
It's a good
But we
high
had-
school
Am I making you
tagline.
blush?
My first basketball game was a Chelan Manson basketball game.
Rivalries.
And I stood up and rooted for Chelan.
Oh, boy. This is after you moved to Manson?
Yeah, right after Dub and I were married, in the winter of 1965. And Ed Batch, Ed Armbruster, Ed Smitten,
Okay.
and Dude Davis
Oh yeah, he was a good man.
picked me up out of the stands, hauled me outside, and stuck me in a snowbank.
Oh
Rooting
God.
And
for the wrong
said,
team.
"Where do you live?" And I said, "Manson."
Manson Trojans.
And they said, "Who do you root for?" Oh, Manson? Yeah.
It's
I
funny.
will never forget
That's
that.
funny. Well, the generation
Dang.
I'd say it was a generational rivalry.
Oh, sure.
Because the grandpas had played against each other, my dad's crew had played against each other, and then the sons were playing against.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
And let me ask you this, because it seems like it's changed a little bit, but I have a theory that back then everybody had the economic foundation of farming, small farmers.
Sure.
And so every town was pretty solid in their own economic base.
Right.
And therefore they had this ability to pass on orchards to their kids,
Exactly.
and then when that kind of changed, and the corporations kind of came in, the wineries came in, it seems like, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from the intensity that kids have now, but the generational rivalries.
Oh,
that
yeah.
my kid's going to get back at you for what you did to me 30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And but you just had, it was family. It was family, and it didn't make any difference. You followed those kids, no matter where they were, no matter whose kids they were.
Yeah.
You followed the kids. You did. You went to all the away games. We followed kids, and then our grandson came to live with us, and we really followed the kids
Yeah.
because, you know, I
Do you
mean.
know who I wish I could have interviewed was Ben Smalley, because he
Oh,
was,
yeah.
boy,
oh,
did
my
he.
gosh. He and Elaine.
They followed
followed every.
everybody.
Oh, really?
Every ball game.
Yeah.
Every ball
Yeah.
game. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's cool.
And they were great supporters, you know, the
huge.
band and everything. We were more towards the FFA kids and
Okay,
everything,
yeah.
and supported the FFA kids. And after Dub had in 2000, we were out in our boat fishing, and he had his first brain bleed, and I tried to step out of the boat. I said, "Excuse me, you don't swim, and you don't walk on water." So anyway, for 2 years he had 11 brain bleeds
Oh,
in
that's
2
rough.
years, and every bleed that he lost a little more of himself. But after he passed, I still supported the kids. You know, you have to. And I cooked Barron's beef for the FFA kids every year. That was my thing until about COVID. And then all of a sudden, why it was.
We had Rod Cool on the podcast. and
Yeah.
He was quite the avid FFA.
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And Kevin Amsden.
And
I would
Kevin.
love to get Kevin on. I mean, and Mary,
yeah.
they'd be great. He's such a strong supporter of kids. and,
Absolutely,
you know, just
absolutely.
good
But
people.
you follow the kids. I can't express how much of it family. It was family.
Do you think that part of it now is also back then? I was telling Nicole, when, before there was cable, you had 3 channels maybe on
Yeah.
TV, and it's dark at 4 o'clock. I mean, there's no cell phones, there's no computers, there's no internet. What are you going to do? I mean, it's dark at 4 o'clock.
Well, you played cards.
You played cards.
Yeah.
Pinochle.
Played cards.
Yeah. Bridge.
Pinochle.
Pinochle was huge.
Cribbage.
Yeah.
I taught my husband how to play cribbage, and I never won another game. Never won another game. I tell you what. Till I caught him cheating, and then he's halfway down one side, and then all of a sudden he's going down the other side, that kind of thing. But you played cards and you talked to each other. Oh my gosh.
Conversations.
Yeah,
That's
Not
one
that
reason
much
we
more.
loved our cabin in Lucerne. And, people started bringing in generators and then satellite TV and
Yeah.
everything. And they said, "Don't you want to come over and watch this?" And I said, "No, we're playing cards.
Yeah.
We're actually enjoying each other, finding out what we're doing."
Yeah.
What-
That's when you know the addiction is alive and well of
Yeah,
of
yeah.
information and the dopamine hits from TV and it's like I can't
Yeah.
even, like this thing,
Yeah.
It's a legit addiction. I mean, it's a necessary evil for us, but it's definitely, when I go hunting, and I go backcountry hunting a lot, so there's not a lot of tech, for about a day and a half, I'm reaching for it.
Yeah.
And then finally
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm over the addiction now.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't want to see that phone again. I'll just stay here in the mountains for another week or two. you
Well,
know?
I will go out and work in my yard, and I will purposefully sometimes leave my phone
Yeah.
in the house because it's going to be vibrating or ringing, and it's like
Well, you're about the only seamstress left, aren't you?
I am. I am. And
You're
this
gonna have to
little,
mentor somebody.
This little part-time job, you know, when I worked EMS, and after Dub died, I went back and got
Yeah,
certified.
that's amazing. And that's
I was
admirable.
the old lady of the EMS squad.
So what year was the Dub pass away?
Dub died Christmas, the day after Christmas
Oh gosh. I'm sorry.
of 2001. And in 2002, I was certified as an EMT, and I worked for 10 years.
So you were in your 50s, 60s?
Yeah.
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 Good for
Good
you.
That's
Yeah.
admirable.
Yeah.
And I would do it today, but my back wouldn't do it. And the equipment has gotten so much heavier. There's more equipment, and there's more. And the new gurneys had just come in when I retired, when I decided that I needed to give it up. And they're so incredibly heavy, even though they have the automatic and they do this and they do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That initial thing where you still got to get them up and get them in there. Why? They're heavy. They're heavy, and I thought, no, this is not. But I've sewn all my life. I learned to sew. If I'd have sewn like my home ec teacher taught me, I would never sew another stitch in my life.
Yeah.
But my grandmother and my mother were both beautiful seamstresses. So I learned to sew from them.
Was it rare for your mom? You said your mom went to a 5-star school for cooking?
Yeah, she went to international chef school.
Wasn't that
Wow.
fairly rare for a woman?
Very rare.
At that time?
Very
Yeah.
rare.
What
But
was
it
her
was
story?
war years.
Oh.
It was war years.
Okay.
And she decided that instead of being a fry cook, she was going to do something that she could.
Sounds like she was an incredible person.
Yeah. She
Now, where
in-
was that school at?
It was in Seattle.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Well, it was before the war. It was early.
Do you think
war.
her drive and then like your drive to do what you've always done, and including going back to EMT school, were learned from that programming?
My moving force was my grandfather.
Okay.
My grandfather Hearst. I have his blue eyes. He was a force to be reckoned with. My mother was a force to be reckoned with. When she ran the kitchen, she ran the kitchen. It did not make any difference whether you owned the restaurant or not. My mother ran the kitchen, and you
cute.
stayed the heck out of the kitchen.
After she clocked the guy with the ashtray, nobody
Yeah.
said anything.
She threw a great big, huge stainless steel bowl at Hugh Griffiths one time and told him, "Who runs this kitchen?" You do.
You do.
That's
And
hilarious.
but they gave me that work ethic.
Do you think that was? That's an interesting topic these days in business. Even in my career, 30-some years, it's changed. It's really hard to find driven people, but it used to be everybody.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have a lot of there was maybe one or two people that got into alcohol a little too much or whatever, but most people worked hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about my dad's crew and my grandparents, Grandma Hazel, Grandma Daisy.
Sure.
Those women were workers. My mom, workers. It was like that, I'm sure, for you too, growing up.
Yeah. I can't remember a time I mean, even when I was 4 years old on the ranch, I fed chickens. When we had a new brood of chickens, I took care of them little baby chickens and everything. That was one of my jobs. Weed and garden. Yes, I learned to weed garden. Grew a garden. We always grew a big garden. We always had, and my grandfather was a master gardener. He grew 3 acres of garden.
Oh, wow.
When he retired early from the post office. He worked for the post office in Walla Walla, and he played semi-pro baseball.
Okay, cool.
And but he retired early because of phlebitis in his legs, and so he gardened. And he bartered and he traded and he sold, and I mean, it was, but he grew an acre to 2 acres. Then he went into the neighbors and then took their what used to be the horse pasture and everything. And he had that whole thing in garden and gardened every day. Gardened every day.
That probably
Fished.
Fished
And gardened. Fly fished and gardened.
So you said you and Dub fished a lot.
We fished a lot.
Yeah.
We fished a lot. When we got our boat, we were on the lake.
Yeah.
We were on the lake all the time. We fished a lot. Loved to fish, loved Lucerne. Loved to go. He loved Lucerne. He could just sit out on the riverbank or on the lake and he didn't have to do anything.
Were you part of the boat club?
Yeah, we were part of the boat club.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed, in fact, I was secretary treasurer for, holy cows, I don't know how many years.
They were just able to secure it back, I heard.
Yeah, yes. They're actually going to have it now.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
really?
can't be taken away.
Yeah, they bought it. Yeah, it was amazing. There's some good work from some people behind the scenes.
Yeah. So I gave up my cabin after about 2 years after Dub died.
No, my dad had a brain bleed too, and it led to vascular dementia for him, and that's how he passed away. He made it about 4 years after he had a severe bleed. Is that kind of what happened with Dub with the bleeds? Did it just kind of like a dementia?
They would be spontaneous.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden his head would fill with blood. The first bleed that he had was out in the middle of the lake. We were flown to Spokane. They gave me my choice of being flown to Spokane or Seattle, and I said, I can drive in Spokane.
Yeah.
I can't drive in downtown Seattle.
And you don't know how long you're going to be there either.
He was there 150 days.
Oh, wow. That was after the first one?
That was the first
severe.
one.
That was severe.
He was in a coma for a long time. And when he finally started coming around and everything, I can remember one doctor kept coming in and asking him questions and asking him questions. And he'd wait until they left the room, then he'd talk to me.
Yeah.
And the doctor finally came back in and said, now you talk to your wife, we see you on film talking to your wife, so why won't you talk to me? And he says, because I don't have a damn thing to say to you.
So he didn't lose his little.
Well, that's a good sign.
Feminist step on that one.
And the doctor said, that's all I wanted you to do was say something.
Yeah, right.
You know.
I learned a lot about it with my dad because I thought he wasn't going to get out of that one the first time. And I spent about a month in Harborview. And I learned a lot about advocacy and the insurance companies and the point system.
Oh my gosh.
It's sad.
And they told me that, when he had his stroke that, 80% chance he's not going to wake up. It was deep in the basal ganglia and it was all over. And then if he does wake up, you might not want him to wake up because he's going to be all messed up. And he proved them all wrong. And then he started rehabbing a little bit. What I found interesting is that they're so busy there. I mean, the doctors are amazing. They're super brilliant, but they're so busy that the main guy would show up and he'd be exercising, like walking with the nurses up and down. And then he'd be passed out when the guy would show up. And pretty soon I'm looking at the charts and they're writing down non-responsive. And I'm like, well, he's just been working out for 2 hours. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Because it had to do with whether we're going to get him into a nursing home or whether we're going to get him to therapy.
Right.
And that insurance company rules the day.
Are they just going to put him in a
Convalescent home.
Yeah,
If he didn't,
yeah.
if he was
Yeah.
too far gone, they don't want to work on him. So you have to prove that you have the ability to get better.
Yeah,
A little
Dub
bit.
went to St. Luke's, which is a rehab facility
Yeah.
in Spokane, and was there for, I think, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then came home, and we went for his next checkup, and he'd had another. He got really upset because he had to go back over there. And that's just the kind of thing that would throw him into another bleed.
Was it
Oh,
more
really?
than
Like the
TIAs, right?
stress?
These
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
These
I
are
mean,
full-blown bleeds.
I mean, his head had just filled with blood.
Could you tell?
Oh yeah, I knew just right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew.
Had to be a difficult time for you.
It was 2 years of pure hell. Pure hell.
So every time you got like overly worked up,
Yeah.
it could trigger another one. So you had to
Exactly.
just try to keep everything calm as much as
Yeah.
possible.
Anybody argue with him a little bit?
Oh, that would just
No.
probably freak you
It's
out.
blood pressure, right? I mean,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah,
it's the
it's blood pressure.
pressure in your
Yeah.
arteries.
Oh, okay.
My dad, he did his. He was lifting for Grandma Hazel in Wenatchee, and the neighbor had a semi unloading furniture, and they had a couple of guys that weren't very strong. My dad was 82.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, I can help you." And it's 500 pounds, and he's bench pressing it off. My dad wasn't a big guy either. He was like 5'9", 155 maybe. And then it just, all that pressure, he just lights
Yeah.
out because
Yeah.
the coupler burst.
I,
in his head.
I think Dub started with a fall,
Okay.
but when we went out on the lake, that was really funny because when we started to go out on the lake that day, he started to drag the boat out of because we had it in the shop up at the house, and he without opening the door. I mean, without opening the door all the way. And I said, okay. And if it hadn't been for Chris Willoughby and Jeremy Greenway, whose boat, they helped me get my boat in and everything. And I called Buddy and Martha, and I said, y'all better get down here because I'm calling the ambulance for Dub. Somebody needs to get this boat out of the water and take it home. And,
Did you see Chris just had a fall?
and Chris had a cell phone.
No, he just had a fall. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, I understand that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he had to
He's
bleed.
in Harborview.
Oh, right now?
Yeah, right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
He's a good
So,
man.
And Diana.
So I was going to ask you, like, since you've gone through it and now you can reflect, spend some time, what would you say to someone going through something like that? That was 2 years of hell. What advice would you give someone? I mean, we're all going to face it one way or another.
The thing
tragedy.
you have to do is take care of yourself. Take care of yourself because you are taking care of them,
Yeah.
and you have to take care of yourself. And you have to. I found the one of the biggest helps that I had was the chaplain at Sacred Heart brought me a journal, and he said, "Start writing. Start writing because you're going to go through hell." And he said, "Start writing, putting stuff on paper, how you're feeling, what emotions you're having." Because I was over there by myself 90% of the
Yeah.
time. My husband had 15 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I never saw any of them except for Layman and Louise until the evening he died.
Were
They
they-
came to
were
the
they around
hospital.
here?
They came to, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of them were. A lot of them, eight or nine of them are,
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
big
so that's
family.
half.
Yeah. So, I mean, I saw that night the room crowded. And one of the things they said was, we didn't think he was so sick that he was going to die. And I finally went to the nurse and said, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
It's a tough time.
They haven't been here, for the whole thing for 2 years. So,
What about asking for help? Or you took care of yourself, but what about people in that situation that there's maybe this obtuse nature of people that they don't know what they don't know. And what do you think about asking them for help?
Well, you know, I had Arnold and Melody lived next door to me, and they're my adopted family.
Yeah, same last name.
Yeah, and same last name too. But them and their kids stood by me, were with me. I was still selling Avon. We had 16 acres of orchard, and I was still selling $80,000 worth of Avon.
So you're cooking.
Oh, wow.
You're a seamstress. You're selling Avon. You're gardening. You have an ambition problem, Sue.
Yeah. I think you take on a little more than most people could ever do.
But
$80,000 in Avon.
Yeah.
Is a lot.
In this area.
Dang,
In
girl.
that year?
Yeah.
Wow, you were doing well.
Yeah. We never had a production loan because
That's why you were able to stay farming.
Yeah, that's it, you know. But, you know, I mean, after Dub died and I went to EMS and we talked about sewing and everything, when they were sending everything out to have insignia put on it, if a pair of pants had to be shortened or something, they were sending either back to the factory or back somewhere else. And one time I told Carl, I said, you know, I could take these home and they'd be in service tomorrow. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. And he said, oh. I said, well, it ain't rocket science, honey. It's just sewing. And he said, okay. And I started sewing for EMS then.
Oh, perfect.
So then it graduated into the fire department. And, you know, I still sew for EMS every year. I sew for the fire department all the time.
Being the only one, I bet you have more people than you know what to do with.
My niece Melissa said, why don't we start a website for you? And I said, shoot yourself in the foot, girl. I said, are you kidding me? Yeah. I said, word of mouth. I mean, you look at Chelan Strong or Facebook or anything, who does it say? Yeah. That's mine.
I don't need to paint it for no website.
Yeah, I said no website.
Yeah,
no
Melissa
website.
was helpful in getting me to say my Aunt Sue be good on this podcast of yours. I like Melissa. She's always been sweet.
Yeah, she's my a niece by marriage, but she kept me when they divorced.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
You adopt a lot of people, and
I adopt a lot of people. Mama Sue was my name, and when I was in the EMS, I was Mama Sue.
So, and the Bakers, all the other Bakers around here had all those brothers and sisters, right?
Yeah.
So, like, was Randy Baker?
That's Randy.
Is that related?
Redheaded Randy, not Randy that used to work, that retired from the city here not very long ago.
Yeah, okay.
The other Randy.
Dump truck driving Randy.
Dump trucker, yeah. Troublemaker Randy.
That's good.
That's a nephew. Okay. That's a nephew. That's one of Layman and Louise's boys.
Yeah.
And
it's funny how this town is not like, I think about it, like 2 people ago in my family was my grandma Daisy, who came on a covered wagon when she was 7, lived to be 101, right? That's just 2 people ago, and how much has changed. So it's I think sometimes when I meet people that, you know, we sell to and they move here and they're like, man, everybody's like related. But if you really think about it, this town not that long ago was small.
Oh, absolutely. You knew everybody. You knew everybody. And everybody knew you and knew what you were doing, whether you wanted them to or not.
Well, we joke around on this podcast, a lot of people that remember the party line. And and get off the phone, Beatrice, I'm on to quit eavesdropping.
I can remember one time, Mr. Oh, gosh, I can't even say his name now. He used to live over the hill from me when we lived on Totem Pole, said, would you get off the phone? There's a fire. And I said, okay, goodbye. You know, he says, I got to call the fire department.
Yeah, it's funny how it's change is inevitable. You know, we talked about that, but it is neat to be able to remember, and this podcast has sure given us a lot of incredible stories that we just feel so lucky and blessed to be here to do this and kind of unite and connect people of all types, because of people, and that normally, this is Nicole Turner, I'm Russ McClellan, by the way. Normally I do that early, but the two reasons we do this podcast mainly is, one is to help people get to know each other instead of each other, because that happens a lot, where you might know somebody from a particular industry, or you worked with them, or they gave you a ticket if they were a police officer. You're like, I hate that guy, gave me a ticket, when really he's probably a good guy or whatever, just doing his job. Or you remember, like I have people give me a hard time about my high school days, and I was kind of a hellion and driving my car too fast. Or like,
I can remember those days.
Yeah, Mike Collins was telling me that I remember when you go flying by in your RX-7 and your hair out, drying your blonde hair out the window while you were doing 70 miles. Made my kids going behind the bus stop. I'm like, or your motorcycle, and I'm like, I don't know. But it's funny how then they don't really know me, and 50 years later, I'm probably not the same kid, but. It is, that's an important part. And then also the authentic stories where your kids and grandkids and your family can hear from you. I mean, I wish I had my mom and dad on here and so many other people. It's been fun.
It's great to reminisce, I mean, Anita, I'm sure you get Anita and Grant by. Anita and I were raised together. We used to swim together every day. And her sister, Carolyn, but we had great fun. We used to love to watch like thunderstorms and everything. You sit out and just watch things like that, and you entertained. We didn't have things to entertain us. Yeah. You had to find entertainment. You had we read, we played dolls, we walked. I don't know how many times I've climbed the butte and climbed what is up on the golf course now, which was Campbell's Orchard, there was Lonesome Pine up there. I've got a pair of glasses up there. I've got a pair of glasses in the lake. I've got a couple of pairs of glasses up on the butte. I mean, I take them off and stick them in my pocket. They're gone.
A really good friend of mine, one of my best friends, Bill Sargent, passed away of a heart attack at 61. And he actually married Audie and I. And then his son, Ryan, is going to marry my son on September 6th. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. But Bill used to give me a hard time because I'd have these expensive sunglasses. And he goes, my summertime job is I just hang out with Russ, follow him, and then I get all his glasses, and then I sell them back to him for a discount. That's how absent-minded. He's always on the phone. His stuff's everywhere.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So true.
But it's true. I got glasses everywhere, too.
But it was sense of family. Every town, both of towns, both Chelan and Manson, it was more of a sense of family than we have now, because we all knew each other. Does it feel like if I talk to people right now that have young kids or kids in high school, I'm sure they feel like they have relationships and they have like pockets of people, factions or whatever, that they know each other. But I think what's hard to explain to people that didn't experience what I believe you're saying is that it was a united town, not a united faction. Yeah.
Or hung out with a group or a clique here and there. It was the whole thing. Yeah. Now, you had friendships inside that, but especially when something would happen that's tragic. Then, it was like legitimately, like when somebody would go missing or...
everybody got involved immediately.
Children or something.
I can remember when the boys.
Yeah, the two boys, Trish's son. And that was sad. I remember looking for those kids. Yeah,
I can remember a lot. Fires is another thing.
My dad had some old footage. And you graduated in 63?
Yeah.
So in 1969, do you remember the deer drive in Manson? Because he had footage of reel-to-reel footage where there was so much snow in the mountains, all the deer came into the orchards, and the townspeople connected hands and arms and walked the deer back up into the mountains.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I think it was in the 60s. So I think it was the winter of 69 killed all the apple trees. It was
Right,
a real heavy
right,
winter.
right.
I think it was that winter. I wish I could find that reel to reel because that was something else.
Was
Yeah.
that just in Manson?
Yeah, it was just right in Manson. They'd
Just right in
like
Manson.
walking back towards Antelope Lake.
Yeah.
But they were in downtown. Like hundreds of deer were in downtown.
Well, I can remember 69. We bought the place up there on Totem Pole the last day of 1969.
That's when we moved back up. My dad left in '59 after Korea, and then they stayed in Boron, California, where he was a bar axe miner.
We saw them in Boron, California.
Oh, you did?
Believe it or not, they took
Really?
They took us down in. Well, he knew Dub's cousin, Boyce and Betty, and they took us down into the boron mine,
Yeah,
and
open
we
pit
saw the
mine.
big equipment and all that kind of
Wild.
stuff. Yeah, one year when we went.
He loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. He
Oh,
loved the heat.
fascinating.
You know, when they moved back up, my sisters smuggled in like 13 tortoises
Oh,
from the desert. Yeah, it's pretty funny. So I always ask people this because I wish they were still here. I miss them. You know, my dad was in 2020, passed away. My mom in 2021. What were they like for
what
you?
were they like? Fun.
Were they?
Fun. You get those Oklahoma boys together. Oh my goodness. You talk about women gossiping. No.
No, these men.
Women do not hold a candle
Like
to guys
smudge
when they
pots
get
in
together.
the
Yeah,
spring,
oh yeah.
out in the trailers.
Yeah.
Frost control.
Lots of fun. Lots of
That's
fun.
funny.
We all used to hang together, you know.
A lot of pinochle I remember as a kid.
Yeah, pinochle.
Two-handed, or team pinochle, two-handed
Yeah,
pinochle.
two-handed pinochle, and sometimes there's 2, 4, 6, 8 of us playing pinochle.
I
at the
told
same
you
time.
hearts, Patty. Does this look like a heart?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You
Yeah.
bid too much for that. We're crying out loud.
It's a fun game.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
surprised people don't play games like that anymore as much, but
Yeah.
they got all technology.
No, too much technology, too much TV, too much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're always in a hurry.
Yep. And we all are. You know, I find myself now thinking, all right, you've worked for 5 hours today and you're 80 years old. Why not? Sit down for a while. I'm going through pictures right now because they're throwing me an 80th birthday party
Oh,
in
fun.
October.
Happy birthday.
In
Yeah, coming
October.
up.
And so I'm going through pictures right now. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I really look like that. You know.
I miss photo albums, though. I think that's something that, you know, I miss like the little slides that you had in the
Yeah.
little projectors.
Yeah.
Or the reel-to-reel movie nights, you know, where you'd put on home movies.
Sure.
And now you have those, you have photo albums, but everybody just has everything electronically and digitally. But you never really see them again.
I still have albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going through albums. I went through a bunch of albums here not very long ago, and I had mass amounts of boat club,
Oh.
you know,
Yeah.
things, exchanges with the Olympia Boat Club, which was our sister boat club. Work parties at Mitchell Creek, work parties at Lucerne, work parties down here, work parties all over, luau's, all different kinds of things. And I had and so many of these people are gone now.
Well, you know what you remind me? Jerry Eisenhart this morning. He's been helping me with some advice and stuff with the. He's like the original media guy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But he had a great idea, I thought. He told me Wally Peterson was one of the co-founders of the boat club.
Of the boat club,
and
right.
Echo Valley and so many other
Yeah.
things. And ironically, I ran into Cappy today at the store in Manson, and I showed him Jerry's. I go, what would you think, Cap, if I did this? And what Jerry recommended I do is get all the guys that knew Wally and do a podcast about Wally.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But because Wally's deceased, but he was such an impactful human being, and there's
Oh,
so
sure.
many people like that. And I was like, that's a completely different angle. Talk about somebody that's not
Yeah,
here anymore,
right.
But while their friends are still alive and can tell the stories.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? That would be a tribute to Wally. And I think he's one of the most important people around, right? I
Sure.
mean, he was very instrumental. So many people are that are gone now.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great
Well,
idea.
I had all these pictures, and I went through all these pictures, and I thought, I don't need these pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian McClellan brought me some clothes to repair, and I said, boat club meeting, and it's the first Monday of the month. Yeah, boat club meeting tonight. Take these pictures to the boat club. Then if they don't want them, they can throw them away.
That's great. Good for you. I heard Brian was one of the spearheading of the.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for Brian, it may not happen.
He's a go-getter.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway, he said we almost didn't have a meeting that night.
Wow.
He said all we could do was look at those pictures. All we could do was look at those pictures.
Cool.
Oh, I know who that is. I know who that is. You know, I've got.
That's awesome.
I have family pictures of generations of my family that none of the young people are remotely interested in. I have a great big oval picture, you know, of my great-grandfather in his Civil War uniform.
Wow.
And my great-grandmother. I have letters written by that great-grandmother to my grandmother. She lived to be 103.
Wow.
She flew in an airplane when she was 100 years old. And she said her doctor told her, no, you don't fly in that airplane. She said, what am I going to do? I'm 100. I'm going to die. Whoa, woo-wee. You know.
You know, it reminds me, I told my mom when she had dementia too, you know, she started getting pretty bad, but she was with it at times, and she always had a great sense of humor. So I said, Mom, you know what, are you 82? You got dementia? Yeah, I guess so. That's what they tell me. I'm like, I have an idea for us. She goes, okay. You know, and she'd be the kind of person like, I took her indoor skydiving at 82. I mean, she was like, I'll jump out of a real, she had like the fear button went away in her dementia.
Right.
So I said, I have an idea. I think we're going to rob banks. And I said, here's my theory. You're going to go in, sweet little Patty, and you're going to rob the bank with a note. You're going to come out and forget where you put the money. What are they going to do? Like put you in jail? I mean, like you're like, I don't know where the money is. Like, can't remember. She goes, I'll rob banks for you, you know.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
funny how
But
a lot of things remind me of them.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but I think that thing about Wally, that would be interesting now, you know.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about having a podcast about somebody that's not here.
No,
because
we keep talking about, like, it would have been great if we had this person on or that person on. It's a shame they're not here for that.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the next best thing to do.
Yeah, while their friends are still here and they
Yeah,
can tell the
yeah,
stories.
yeah.
There's just some people that when you go back in time, they not all of them had all the money, but they made massive impacts
Sure.
on so many people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I call my mom and dad selflessness defined because I don't remember them
Right.
ever saying no to anybody.
Well, that's, you know,
And
I
maybe
mean,
that's for everybody like that. I don't know.
you bend over backwards to whatever. If people need help, you help them.
Mm-hmm.
I retired from EMS, but my friends, where I moved down here at the Orchards, they call me about the same time. Do you think I should call the ambulance? Yes, but I'm putting my pants on. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, let me ask you about EMS. What was the best thing about going back and doing that career, and what was the one most challenging thing about it?
And what made you want to start it?
Yeah, right. That's a good question.
Because they were so responsive when I would call. And I thought, you know what? I can give back.
Yeah.
I can give back. That was my biggest thing, is I can give back.
Selfless, yeah.
And I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
What was your favorite part of the whole thing? Just helping people?
Patient care.
Yeah.
I love to do patient care. I loved patient care. And then the year that we had the antique, they have the antique hydros every year. Whatever EMT was on duty that day got to ride.
Oh, fun.
Is that the mahogany Merlot
Yeah,
one? Or is
no, this was before the mahogany and below.
Oh, yeah, those are just antique ski
yeah,
boat sites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I got to ride in Oberto.
Did you get Mark Evans out there? And
No, I can't remember who the fellow was that drove, but he said, now if you want me to slow down, of course they gear you up, you know, you're wearing the whole full gear and everything, and the drive shaft is right between your feet.
Oh.
So you can't really, you know, I mean, you're like, okay, I'm keeping my feet down here. These guys have got long legs. They can get their feet
Yeah.
braced and everything. And he said, if you want to slow down, you just, give me a whack. He said, I said, no, hell no, it was great. It was faster we go. And we did 100 and something.
Yeah, right.
It was fun. It was great fun.
That's
So every year you're like, I'll do that trip.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
I'll do that trip. I'll volunteer for that one.
I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but I think we're very fortunate to have the first responders in this town that we
They
have.
are great. They are great.
Yeah,
They
and they're
are
so
great.
selfless too, because they're always out there doing a selfless job every day, and they don't get a lot of credit for that. And I think
When
it's
when
important.
you're sitting down to dinner, and especially out here when we were volunteer, and you're sitting down to dinner or whatever, and you get called, or you could call in the middle of the night, you just go. You get up and go.
Same with the volunteer firemen and
Yeah.
all the people have day jobs, but man, when they're called to action, I think it's an admirable thing to do.
Yeah, it's very the 50-year anniversary of EMS that they had at the hospital here about a month ago was to go back and from when Greta started this. And Greta was a nurse in Canada. That a lot of people don't know
Greta
that,
Griffith?
but she was trained as a nurse in Canada.
Okay.
And he never wanted her to be, no, you don't need to work. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. And it wasn't until actually he died that she started training
Oh, wow.
EMTs. And the guys, that first class, Ed Armbruster and some of those guys, they asked Dub, and Dub says, no way, am I not going to do that? No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But
It
yeah,
was, Andy Precht was telling us on the podcast that he had the first ambulance, which was his hearse.
well,
in
he
the
did
area.
not.
He didn't? Is he
He
wrong?
did not.
He was
Oh.
wrong? Oh,
Pern
controversy.
Smith had the first ambulance. Pern
But
Smith,
what
Smith,
But before
That-
there was an ambulance.
he used his hearse.
Oh.
I got pushed off the 10-foot diving board
Okay.
at the park on Labor Day weekend. I walked home from that and fell down in my own yard and broke my hip. And,
Oh, what? How old
cracked
were
my
you?
back. 9 years old,
Oh
1955.
my gosh.
Okay, that 10-foot diving board.
Yeah.
There was
Well,
one-
I was trying to really think about whether I wanted to go off the diving board or whether I wanted to go back down the
People were tired
ladder.
of waiting.
And somebody came and decided that, okay, it's time for you to either make up your mind, go. So
We'll make it
yeah.
up for you.
And I I just ticked the edge of the concrete.
Oh.
So I got up and I walked home, across the bridge, up the hill,
Yeah.
to
Like,
home, and fell down in my own yard and then couldn't get back up. So anyway, I was in traction. That was before they pinned you all back together and got you on your feet and goodbye, howdy,
yeah.
that was when you hung in traction with your feet up.
At 9 years old.
9 years old. And of course, I was a wiggle worm. I was 9 years old, for crying out loud. You weren't going to. And so.
For how long?
Well, sometimes for 4 months. And so anyway, I wiggled and wiggled and the weight fell to the side and then my hip started to knit that way. So the doctor came in and re-broke me and boarded me together with 2x4s and casted me clear up around my waist and boarded me together with 2x4s and called my folks and told them to come and get me, take me home. So I spent from September, middle of September, to November on a bed overlooking the river and the bridge there, while, and
Reading a lot of books, probably. What are you
yeah,
going to
yeah, what do you do,
do? Yeah, schoolwork, I guess.
and doing schoolwork, and everybody gave me a pet for my folks to take care. I mean, I had fish. and I had birds, and I had cats, and I had 2 dogs.
Keeping you company all
Oh
day.
my goodness.
And yeah, but I'm stuck. So it's up to my folks to take care of all these things.
But they keep you company while they leave the room.
And the gal that took care of me at during the day when my folks were both at work.
Yeah.
But Pern used to come and get me in the back of the ambulance or back of the hearse, and he would drive me all through town,
Just to give
and
you a
then
ride.
take me up to the hospital. I'd be have an X-ray, see if everything was healing the way it was supposed to. Put me back in, and he'd drive me down through the park and drive me down and drive me all around, and then take me home, park me in my bed again, because you could just pick me up like that and pack me.
Do you remember when they had the high dive out here too in Manson?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a big, tall one.
That was a big, tall one. Well, they had a 40-footer in there.
Did they?
That was a wooden one, and that one they built new dock, and that one got torn down, and there was a lot of accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought like if you were over 40 feet, it's easy for it to feel like you're hitting concrete.
Yeah.
If you hit just
Maybe
slightly
they
wrong.
did it wrong,
We
yeah.
used to dive off the bridge all the time.
Oh yeah. I know people still do that.
Yeah.
My dad used to say, like, when we get in the back of the truck, and he'd, that old cowboy humor, he'd be like, well, some people just don't need to have kids. If they're going to fall out of the truck, they're going to fall out of the truck. I'm like, Dad, come on, man. And he's like, well, common sense, if you're going to stand up and be a horseplay in the back of a truck doing 60 miles an hour when at you, I guess you're going to be that kid.
Yeah.
And that kid may not be around, but most kids will sit down. They just kind of had, and it's true if you really think about this whole helicopter parenting. And then I heard a phrase, which is, you protect your kids from all bad things, and then therefore they don't know how to handle any adversity growing up, and then
Well,
they kick
it's
them
just
out.
like germs. It's just like kids don't play in the dirt anymore. Kids don't play in the dirt.
Yeah.
And they are allergic to this, and they're allergic to that. And if you let them play in the dirt,
Build your immune system as a
builds
young
your
kid.
immune system. So
Yeah, I heard an expression called bulldozer parenting now, where you not only hover over them, the parents are just knocking everything out of their way, like to your point.
Oh, like obstacles?
Yeah, so you don't have any risk, and then you're 18 and they kick you. You go to real life hits, and you have anxiety, and you have this, and you have that,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like, how do I handle that problem? And it's like, I also heard something that was fair, I guess. The worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. So I guess I'm trying not to be too judgmental of some, but it seems like even my daughter and I have this conversation because I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they're great kids, right? But when the difference when as a grandpa and as a dad trying to counsel my kid, who was outgoing and grew up here, and she's a doctor of audiology and she's working hard, and my son-in-law is a cop. It's hard to explain because we were always outside, and so the parenting style is just different because you can't really do that where they're at, or if you can, it's not done. And then the iPads come in and the Game Boys come in, and she knows it, and yet it's like this cultural thing where you're both working all the time and you're trying to.
Right.
But I just, I always come back to Earl Stanford because that guy is so full of wisdom. And he said if we were home before dark, we were in trouble.
Or something was wrong.
Yeah, something was wrong. Like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, get out of here. Go play. And then he went so far in Manson when he was growing up that they would just be playing, lose track of time. And they're, 4 miles from home. And they're like, okay, we're just going to stay at so-and-so's house tonight, and the parents were like, yeah, he's probably all right, he'll either come back or he won't. It was a different, and so I was thinking about you saying that you slept in the back of a car while your mom's working. Can you imagine if somebody did that now?
Oh gosh.
Well,
Nope.
number one, Child Protective
You'd be
Services
arrested.
would be right
cops,
there, honey.
Cops would be called immediately.
Yeah.
Or you'd worry about him getting kidnapped or something. It's
Something
Just come in
bad
my
happened.
pajamas and go to the bathroom,
So do you
and-
think we do this to ourselves, or do you think there's legitimate risks that there weren't before? this paranoia about stuff?
I think there's legitimate risks, but people are not kind anymore either. People are not kind. They don't. They're not kind to each other. They don't think about what their actions are going to do to somebody else. People are self-involved. They're just self-involved. It's I, me, my. There's a generation of I, me, my. I want it. I deserve it. You know, that kind of thing. And that generation doesn't understand the work ethic that we grew up with, that I grew up with.
What do you think about this? You might. I've heard this a lot. I can't work. First of all, if you're a real estate broker working for me, most likely you're self-employed. You're getting paid on commissions. So if you don't make deals, you probably don't get paid. So they'll say, well, I'm only going to be able to work 20 hours. I'm like, okay, well, it's your business. So whether you have a lemonade stand or an apple orchard or a carpenter, I mean, you do you, but I'm just telling you from my experience, it takes hard work and a lot of hours, and you're self-employed. Like you work all the time. I mean, you hope you enjoy it, because like my dad said, if he won the lotto, he'd farm till it was all gone, right? So you have to just love what you do. But I hear this, well, I need a work-life balance. And I don't, because I grew up with my parents, I mean, I get what they're saying if it works for you, but if your car's being repossessed and you're getting kicked out of your apartment because you didn't pay your rent, I'm not sure that's balance either.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, what do you think about when someone talks about, I need work-life balance, from your perspective?
My perspective, I think you need to rethink your own life. I really do, because my work-life balance is I work for so many hours a day, and my balance is I go out and dig in the dirt for so long every day. And that takes all my stress out, and I can dig in the dirt and go for walks and that kind of thing. That's my balance.
How about, do you enjoy your work?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I love the challenge. I love that somebody brings me a dress and they're
I've got a tent for you.
Okay.
Backcountry tent. I ripped it in Idaho.
Yeah.
But I really.
Do you think maybe that's part of it? They don't enjoy what they're doing?
Well,
what do you think, Nicole?
I think, well, there's two parts. I mean, one, if you're, like a business owner, you're going to have a different mentality than if you're a 9-to-5. But I think that a lot of it has come from corporate, because, if you lived in Seattle and you worked at a corporate company that will easily fire you in 5 seconds, then for them, they want a quote unquote more work-life balance, because they're easily replaced and they're treated like they're easily replaced.
Right.
There's no longer, I will stay at a company for 30 years, retire, get a pension, plus get a 401k. There's no you've been here for so long, we're going to value you. It's no matter who you are or what position you're in, you're replaceable. So then that makes the employee, okay, if I'm just that replaceable, then I might as well choose myself in my life, and I better get benefits and balance too. But then I think it swings so far one way that there's no good in the middle anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
It kind of seems like the overreaction of my generation to our kids was a part of the problem, because we had it too good. Like my dad's generation worked so hard that we didn't have to work as hard.
As hard, right.
We had work ethic, and we were the last generation to kind of grow up without computers, but we worked differently hard than they did. More people went to college, or more people had more opportunity than they did the generation before. And then because of that, that's that old saying where, tough men make easy times make soft men make hard times make great men. Something like that.
Right.
Where it kind of is a vicious cycle where I do think that when kids grow up and they haven't had to face adversity, or you took care of their problem, and I'm guilty of that for my kids. I mean, I fixed a lot of things, as you do, right? I knew this guy that knew that guy that could, small town it, right? It's a little bit different. that doesn't always serve them. I don't.
Right.
I think
I agree. I think we sometimes go too far for our kids. We go too far for kids and grandkids that well, I don't want you to have the struggles, but everybody needs those struggles. That builds character.
Yeah.
That builds character. That's quote unquote. But it builds character. It does. And it forms you. It forms you. Adversity forms you.
Yeah, I say adversity breeds clarity if you let it. And
Yeah.
and wisdom through scar tissue.
Well, wisdom through scar tissue is absolutely true.
Mentally and
Absolutely.
physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look back, we call this unscripted because I do this a lot. I just jump around. When you look back, tell me about your husband.
Dub was a Oklahoma boy. He came out here. The government brought the Bakers out here to pick apples and to work in the orchards because he was 11, so he was born in 31, so that had been early 40s. And there was, Ellis was the baby. And Ellis, they found out, had whooping cough. So they brought him out in basically cattle cars, or in, they had them all crowded together in trains when they were brought out here. And because he had whooping cough, they got a car to themselves. They were in quarantine.
Everybody start coughing the next time?
Yeah.
Got a trick here.
So, and Dub, when he was in Oklahoma, was making man's wages at 11,
Wow.
shaking peanuts. And that's when they harvest peanuts, and they go through and they turn them upside, they unearth them, and then you go shake all the dirt off of them and let them dry. And he was making man's wages at 11. And he came up here. He went to school with your dad and everything, but he dropped out. He never did graduate. He dropped out and decided he was going to go to California and see the world and da-da-da-da-da. And
So was he in Korea?
no, he never was in the service. He had a heart murmur,
Oh, I see.
and they never would take him. He tried 2 or 3 or 4 different branches of service to try to get in.
Wow.
Lehman was in Korea. I think Dale was in Korea, but he was. Now there's only one of the brothers left, and I think 7 of the girls left.
Isn't that funny? Like your husband was on a car at 11 coming.
Yeah.
And who was it? We had
That was Rod Cool's
Yeah.
great-grandfather.
Yeah.
That was a crazy story. They sent the kid out. His grandfather.
Great-grandfather. Is it his
I think it was his
great-grandfather?
grandfather.
Early 1900s.
Yeah, it was his grandfather. So sent his grandfather by himself at 11 with a horse to Seattle in a train. And then the kid got on the horse and came over the Cascades and Homestead and Manson, and then sent for his 3 younger brothers, and then sent for his parents at 11.
Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah.
mean, just different men. They're just,
Yeah.
that's that whole generational intelligence that is just different. I mean, there's things obviously there's beautifully smart, incredible children now and kids. But I don't know how it would be fair if we had to go back
Yeah. Well,
75 years.
Dub worked for the Reclamation District for 28, 29 years.
Nice.
And we bought the place, then we leased another orchard, then we bought another orchard, then we bought another orchard.
When were the best years of apple farming for you guys? 80s, early 80s maybe?
Yeah.
Pre-ALAR,
Pre-ALAR.
which was like
Pre-ALAR.
87, I
Yeah.
think, somewhere there.
Pre-ALAR. And when we had small orchard, we did better than we ever did when we had big orchard. It
you
was
did
just
more
too
work
much
yourself?
spread out.
Yeah.
And then we bought our boat. And Dub said, I think we ought to sell some of this orchard. And I said, I think you're right.
Good move.
I'd rather fish. And he said, B2. So we sold 8 acres up on Winesap, and we sold 5 acres to the school, which bordered the football field.
Is that like behind Sue Bennett's place?
No, it's
Or Finley's?
Finley's.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's between
It's
Finley,
England's now, Brit
between
England,
Finley's
Brit Hawkins.
and it belonged to Ron Fry. And anyway, we bought that place, and we had a lease that we leased over on Summit Avenue, and we decided, yeah, we don't need to do this anymore. And we were out on the lake all the time.
So when you're out on the lake, now, were you catching kokanee back then?
Kokanee,
Trout?
trout,
Salmon?
Salmon.
Were you casting into the, like up lake, were you casting into the creeks to catch
sure.
the trout, the
Yeah,
cutthroats?
Yeah.
That's my
Cutthroat,
favorite one.
yeah.
I love
And
that.
We
Mackinac?
Mackinac. You know, I cooked a Mackinac one time. Even the cat wouldn't eat it. And my mother, who would eat any kind of fish, anytime, wouldn't eat it. And we looked at it, and I'd poured the grease off of it 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times.
Goodness.
Because they are so fatty. And I understand now why the Indians just put them on a stick and hang them over the fire.
Dry 'em out.
And until they quit,
Like smoked them,
quit
basically.
dripping grease.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
I told Dub, we ain't catching any more of them.
Yeah.
Not-
What's your favorite? What was your favorite?
Oh, kokanee, for sure.
Yeah.
Kokanee, for sure. But I caught we used to lingcod a lot.
Oh, really? The lines.
The lines,
Okay.
and before they put the regulations on it that you could have 15 hooks, and we used to string right under the power lines, where the power lines went across, and we would have like 300 hooks on it going across. And there was Layman and Dub and myself, and sometimes one of the boys would come with us, and we caught a 20-some pound lingcod.
Yeah.
That was, Dub thought he had the bottom of the lake when he was bringing it up.
Yeah.
And when this thing came up out of the water, the head on it was filled a 2-gallon bucket,
So
just
it's
the
a
head.
freshwater
Goodness.
lingcod and
Freshwater ling.
And are they similar to ocean lingcod?
Yeah, yeah.
Same kind of taste,
You know,
like fish and chip
yeah,
style.
Oh God, yeah, they're wonderful, wonderful.
Huh.
But this fish, because it had been rough and we hadn't been able to get out and check the line, had actually swallowed a lingcod that was 2 feet long, and the hook was in that fish. It was never in the big fish.
I've seen them chase
Two
them up to
for
the
one,
boat.
you guys. Two
yeah.
for one.
Yeah,
No,
and
that's funny.
up by Watson's several years ago, I caught a 10-pound salmon out of the
Oh
lake.
yeah, those are good.
And we trailed it. We didn't have scales on the boat, so we trailed it through Watson's resort. And he said, "You just sold every dime's worth of tackle in my shop." He said, "That was great advertising, kids."
Good for
Like,
him.
you can come back and do that again.
Yeah, yeah. So, but we used to fish, do kokanee, and canned kokanee, and it's just like canned salmon. And we used to smoke some of it,
Oh, I bet that's so good.
and it was really, really good.
It's pretty peaceful out there, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
especially up lake, where you get
Yeah, you get on up out of the
the chaos.
chaos down here. You know, you always start down by lakeside and everything, and the jet skis. I mean, come on, people! You got a line in the water, geez. So, but used to go up to Lucerne and fish up there, fish up lake, you know, and everything, and
Well, Seacon's still a pretty magical place in
Yeah.
Lucerne, and I'm so happy that Brian and the crew got there.
oh yeah,
Land
yeah,
back. Yeah, that's good.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I
So-
bet you miss your husband, huh?
I do. He was 14 years older than I was. I was an only child raised by older parents. I mean, my parents were, and I could probably never have married somebody that was my same age because I still call them kids. I still call them kids, you know? And so he was 14 years older than I was. So he would have been 94 now. And I often wonder, you know, where our life would be if he was still alive. I see a lot of people that I'm seeing now that are declining in health a lot and everything, and I even kids that I went to school with, I listen to that. Yeah, so I just try to keep moving and keep doing and get out and walk every morning and work in my garden. And
what would you say to people, like you mentioned Chelan Valley Strong, which there are some of those websites that, you know, tend to get hijacked by some negativity once in a while and some complaining. And when you think about change and all the change you've seen here, and you think about this change, which often is inevitable, what would be some advice to those people that are just really fired up about change and just angry?
Get over it. Get over yourself. Get over it. You know, change is going to happen. Change is growth. No matter whether you like it or not, change is growth, and it's going to happen. And maybe we don't like it. I mean, there are times when I don't like all of, I mean, the scars on the hillside now kills me. Kills me when I look across the lake and see all these dug places where there's a house stuck up on the hills. I think that ought to be just not part of what's happening, but it's happening. So you might as well get over it.
Yeah, and how about the fact, you probably met a lot of people that have moved here. I think that there's this bad rap that a lot of people get because they want to be here too. They had a life that they dreamed to live in Chelan or live in Manson, and there's a lot of good people, but they kind of get a bad rap because they kind of get thrown into, you're not a local, you know, that whole mindset. I think that people by and large are good people. And anytime you have more people, it's going to be some bad eggs in there.
Sure there is. Well, we had some bad eggs when we were, you know, I mean, I'm sorry, but we had some bad eggs when we were a little town too. You know, I mean, it's not always good. Not always going to get the cream.
No.
You have to take the buttermilk too.
I have this philosophy that when somebody says, "What do you think a local is?" And I said, well, look, I think a local is anybody that lives here that is a good person that, you know, wants to get involved in the community. I call them a local, whether they're 5 days or 50 years or 100 years. I do also believe that we should pay respect to people that have been here a long time and their heritage and the founding fathers, so to speak. And, and there's, not to the level we're on a bent knee, but there's some homage there. There's like, hey, thank you for, you know, being 3 or 4 or 5, 6 generations deep, you know. And my kids are 5th generation from here, so I feel very blessed. But I've also met a lot of great people that I've helped come to this valley, and and I'm glad that there are as many good people as I have met have enriched my life and my family's life because of it.
I think so. I think it's give and take. It's give and take. Everything is give and take. You know.
It's not all one thing. It's not everybody does this or everybody
does that. And you have to, when we had our 55th class reunion here a few years ago, which I ramrodded.
Nice.
Course, you know.
I think Anita told me that.
That's awesome. And you see the kids that come back that have been gone. And we all have that sense that as soon as we drive down Dairy Hill and you see the lake, that you're home.
So you call it Dairy Hill?
Dairy Hill. And I do not know why, but that's what it was called years ago. Was Dairy Hill. And when you come down the hill into Lake and see the lake, you're home. Wherever you've been, you're home.
Well, I think people that live in Seattle and come here on vacation feel the same way. Like
Yeah,
they see
yeah.
the lake, I'm home.
I'm home,
I just
yeah.
got to get over there somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So I, you know, you think about it and you think, gosh, I hate for all. You drive back where all the orchards used to be, like the Loop and everywhere, and it's all built up, and it's just, it's insane to me.
It's very different.
It just is a different. We don't know everybody like we used to.
No,
You
you
know, I mean, we don't know everybody. We still know a lot of people, but we don't know everybody like we used to. There wasn't anybody that you walked down the street and didn't know. I can remember when all the guys, your dad and Dub and oh my gosh, there was Cease Collins and a whole bunch of them, and they used to play baseball. And I shouted, "Hey, honey, get a hit!" And for years, Larry Stevenson and Grady, the coach that was here, called him honey because they couldn't ever remember.
Yeah.
Because Dub didn't have a name. He was WH.
Oh, I see.
And he didn't have a name. He was, Dub is short for W, as if you were to spell
But his name was W.H.?
His name was W.H. He was named for the governor of Oklahoma.
So his legit name was W.H.
His legit name, in fact,
Interesting.
his first birth certificate said Baby Baker because they hadn't given him a name yet. And then he had to send to his grandfather to get a certified birth certificate that said W.H. Baker. He was named for the governor of Oklahoma, who was William Harding somebody or other. I don't know. They called him Alfalfa Bill. I told Dub, you're lucky they didn't call you Alfalfa Bill.
Or
I mean,
Baby
that's
Baker, your whole
true.
life. Could have been Baby your whole life.
So anyway,
That's
but yeah, but I just think change is inevitable, whether we like it or not. But you can make the best of it, or you can make the worst of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like to think that smart growth is different than growth, but smart growth is politics, and politics is ugly.
Ugly.
Yeah,
Ugly.
and it's messy. And I say this a lot, but I think when you look in the past, it's often seen through rose-colored glasses because we try to remember the positives. But like you said, there were some stinkers in the...
Oh yeah.
And the past is all messy. It always has been messy. It's just different messy.
Yeah.
But there's been messy things that have gone on. I mean, world wars and, there's been messy things.
When is
And-
there never going to be?
yeah,
It's
so
always
it
gonna happen.
is that. My grandma Daisy said this a lot. She just, she's always positive, and I say it a lot, but I like talking about her. She always said, hey, I just find one thing that I'm grateful for every day, and I focus on that. And that girl outlived 3 husbands, and,
Yeah.
just had a very good attitude about tragedy and loss and her life and
Yeah.
her relationship
Yeah.
with God, and everything was unique. And I think that those tougher times made people a little more gratitude was part of their program.
That and faith. Faith.
Yeah.
I think faith had a great deal to do with it. I'm a Lutheran, and when we first came to Chelan, the Lutheran Church met in the basement of the IOF hall, which is Safeway parking lot. And we finally built the church, and then, of course, they added on the annex and da-da-da-da-da. But I think we all had faith. It's maybe different than today's generation, but we all had faith. And that was faith and hope.
And faith in each other, too.
And
Well,
faith in
and-
each other.
You know, that you had somebody there regardless of, and I have those friends. I mean, hopefully everybody does. I have a couple that I know I don't have to talk to if I ever needed to, just about anything. I'm losing a couple of them. Lost my dad, lost Bill. I mean, there's some, I was joking around and telling my wife I'm running out of people to help me bury the bodies. So
Yeah.
with my son, but my dad's gone. I only had a couple, but I still have a couple. I'm fair. And my dad said, I think it's true. If you have two really, really close people like that in your life, by the time you're dead, you've done well.
Nita and I, friends since second grade at least. And then we were college roommates and pulled many things on each other when we were college roommates.
So I was telling you before, but I'll share it on the podcast. I was talking to Anita, and she wants to be on the podcast, so I was inviting her. I had no idea you guys knew each other. I shouldn't be surprised, but just a couple of days ago, and I said, well, I want to get you and Grant. And well, Grant's reluctant, so Grant, come on, we'll do it. And I said, well, we'll do it in the middle of his shop. It's more comfortable, put a table right in the middle. We can have his cars around, his tools around. We'll just have a conversation. And then I said, I'm meeting with Sue Baker. And she goes, I know Sue Baker. We were college roommates. And I'm like, of course you were. Everybody's...
we graduated together from high school, and then we graduated from college together.
And I said, well, give me some good stuff. And she's like... She didn't give me the juicy stuff. I'm like, oh, come on.
We used to... went with a kid in college. And we pulled a bunch, he was from Plain, and we went up and pulled a bunch of white horsehairs out, and I laid him in Anita's bed. And as soon as the heat of your body hit those horsehairs, they would start to crawl.
Oh, gosh.
And then as soon as you flip the covers back, they'd lay still, and they'd just lay there. And then as soon as you got back in, they'd crawl again. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you.
That she had invisible bed bugs or something.
We laughed. Lots of things. We had a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Well, Sue, we've been talking for an hour and a half or so. Is there anything that we haven't talked about we should be talking about?
I don't know. I can't think of a thing. I am... This has been fun. It's been great fun.
What would you say to people that I call to try to get on this? Not that hard, is it?
No. And I knew we could run with the ball. I knew we could.
He's told everybody that all day today.
I love it.
He's like, you want to know how awesome this lady is?
Well,
Look at
first of all, like you said about your name, when I said, send her a questionnaire, right? And she was like, I looked at the outline, I can run with the ball.
Yeah.
But she first said Rusty. So that's when people, like my wife knows, that's when people knew me.
Yeah.
Because in college somewhere, I think it was a basketball program that I played basketball at Wenatchee Valley, and so they put Russ in it, and I think that took from there. But anybody high school or before college is Rusty.
Yeah.
And then after it's Russ, and then if I was in trouble by my mom, it was Russell Eugene,
It was like Susan Beatrice. As soon as Grandma's name came out of there, I knew I was in deep doo-doo.
It's funny because his sister works in the office with us.
Kelly.
Yeah, and so whenever, he leaves something behind, or wrappers or garbage, it's always, Russell!
Yeah. Yeah, she graduated high school and I graduated kindergarten. So it's been fun. We've been in business together now for about 6 years, and it's been a lot of fun. She's an amazing woman. And she just got married to Jeff Mullen.
Oh.
And he's out helping us with electrical and plumbing.
I know, we keep calling him in. Hey, Jeff, could you put this hot water heater in this house? We need to close the deal.
Well, he's a selfless man. He likes to help people. And it's been good to see her happy. She's up here now with us. And
that's good.
We opened the Wenatchee office together 6 years ago. So.
But she's back. She's back.
We're both
Chelan.
back up here.
She's
We
happy.
still have the office in Wenatchee, but it's different now. So I have people down there, and I'm back selling and listing personally with Nicole and our team. And so, like Orchard, I got up to about 100 agents, and I was like,
Too much.
it's not what I want to do as much. I mean, it was interesting. It was a challenge. I learned a lot about management. I learned a lot about a lot of things, franchises, and stuff that I hadn't had to deal with. So it was good from the wisdom and the knowledge, but then it also makes you feel good about what you had is not bad. You don't always have to let go conquer the world. So I'm very lucky.
I enjoy what I'm doing now. It's a great challenge. It's I have your soon-to-be daughter-in-law's dress.
Mm-hmm. Casey. They're getting married on his birthday, 9/6/96.
Yeah.
On my son's birthday.
So anyway, but when I get dresses in like that, or wedding dresses, it's a great challenge for me. Some days I have to let them hang for a couple of days so I can get my head around what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it.
And you're fitting it to the person.
Yeah, yeah. I don't sew from scratch very often anymore. I quilt a little bit. I don't have time to quilt as much as I used to. But I don't sew from scratch. I have one gal that I do because she's allergic to polyester thread. She's allergic to anything with polyester in it and everything. It might be a cotton garment, but it's sewn with polyester thread, and she breaks out in hives. So I do quite a bit of sewing.
Is that
for
what you
her.
did for my wife? That was the dress for the wedding? Because she goes, I need your wife's body.
Yeah, that's
another
what
one.
I mean. When
I
that
need your
means they got to come for a fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but
Well, that's
I
nice
just
of you to
did,
do
but-
that for them. I mean, they're excited.
But it is it's a great challenge, and it keeps my brain working, which I think too many people sit in front of the TV and don't activate the brain cells enough,
Yeah.
and I think that partly, so.
Well, appreciate you still taking care of everybody.
Oh yeah.
Keeping us all hemmed
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Really
Been an honor and a
enjoyed it.
privilege.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
All right, sign off one more time. Small Towns Unscripted.